Hi, folks. It is Monday, November 23rd, and this is the Daily Word. Sometimes for these daily videos, I just have to start writing and let flow what God pours through me, especially after the intensity of a spirit-filled Sunday in our church. So this is one of those. Today, the Word starts with Galatians 6:2. Bear one another's burdens and thereby fulfill the law of Christ. Another one is 1 Corinthians 12:26. And if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. If one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Or, in that same vein, you could read carefully the prophet Jeremiah. You can hear his anguish of soul. He saw and he felt deeply in himself the condition of his nation. He carried the lostness of the people. He saw the corruption that had infected his nation at every level, the idolatry that had infiltrated their faith. He saw the corruption of the kings. He saw the destruction that was about to come out of the east from Babylon. You'll see the same thing if you read the other prophets as well. Well, in light of these passages in the Word, many of you are what I would call burden bearers. You're connected in the spirit to what's going on in the people and in society around you. Your spirit is alive to everything people are feeling. And so you feel it all flowing through you, both the good and the bad, the joys, the griefs, the excitement, and the deep encouragement. Right now, a pall of sickness hovers over the land. COVID-19 is only the physical manifestation of it. It goes much deeper than that. If you're one of those burden bearers, you're feeling the fear gripping the nation, and it's more than you yourself would feel if it was only you. Some of it's fear of the virus. Some of it's fear of what will happen depending on the outcome of the court cases that are related to the election. You're picking up on people gripped with economic anxiety as businesses are closing permanently because they can't survive in the face of these mandatory closures. Fitness centers have closed permanently, costing jobs, costing livelihoods for people that can least afford it. I can think of 3 large restaurant chains within just a 4-mile radius of my office that have closed permanently. And again, this costs jobs for those who can least absorb the impact. We're talking about food servers who survive on minimum wage and tips, dishwashers and cooks. And it all feeds into the blanket of fear that hovers over the nation. If you're a burden bearer, you feel all this. You feel it. You sense it coursing through you, and you probably have trouble sorting out what's really your own emotions from what's the fear you pick up from the environment. And then there's the sense that something is just terribly wrong out there. You're sensing the sickness. You're sensing the corruption in our government. And I'm not pointing to any particular political party when I say that. The system itself is sick. The system itself breeds corruption. You know it. You feel it. Sometimes you can quantify it by means of some objective news report, but most of the time, it's just a sense of it that affects you in a negative way. For decades now, we've been building up an overwhelming tsunami wave of hatred in this nation. It's been an infection that's finally come to a head. You saw it in the riots, the burning of businesses, the violence. You see it in relationships, even in families. Families in which people won't even speak to one another anymore because of the division that's fueled by hate. You see it in the racial situation. You see it in the name-calling and insulting that's gone on, and that still goes on in political campaigns. But you didn't have to see it with your eyes. You didn't have to hear it with your ears because you felt it roaring through you like a thick river of sludge, leaving defilement in its wake. Maybe you've been confused by it all. Maybe you've been overwhelmed. And again, maybe you've had trouble sorting it all out and differentiating what's your own stream of emotions from what's coming at you and into you from outside. Well, this daily word is designed to be less than 10 minutes, so I don't have time to give you all the answers and keys that I'd like to. I'm going to focus on just 1 or 2. The most important is 1 John 1:5. This is the message we have heard from him and announced to you that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. Or 2 Corinthians 3:17, now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. Verse 18, But we all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as from the Lord the Spirit. Well, you know what? It's too easy to focus on all the bad or negative things going on around us and become consumed by them. There's a discipline we need to practice that requires diligence in order to keep standing in the presence of the Lord where there's no darkness and where we're transformed into the image of the Son of God. What we feed on and what we meditate on is what we become. And what we become shapes our thought life, our own emotions, and even our relationships with people around us. Let the light of the Lord's face and presence conquer the darkness that threatens to overwhelm. The next thing is basic advice. When what you sense in the spirit realm threatens to overwhelm you and you begin to lose clarity, that's when you need to begin to work at reasoning things through. It can be an effort, reasoning things through. But it's an effort, but it'll bear fruit. I ask myself, is there any reason in my personal life that I should be feeling these things that I'm feeling? This is reasoning things through. If the answer is no, then to use a useful image, I put those feelings in another room in my heart or spirit where it becomes just a cache of information to inform my praying, and I choose to live in what is my own. What really helps is the practice of affirming who the Lord is in my life. It's more than the power of praise. It's the power of declaration of what is true. And so it might go this way. You, Lord, have said that you will never leave me nor forsake me. You never have. You never will. You, Lord, are my provider. You have never failed me. And it's Psalms like Psalm 37, verses 23 and 24. The steps of a man are established by the Lord, and he delights in his way. When he falls, he will not be hurled headlong, because the Lord is the one who holds his hand. Verse 25, I have been young. This is a declaration, listen. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his descendants begging bread. I might pray, you, Lord, are my salvation. You are the defense of my life. You go before me, and you are my rear guard. And here's another psalm. Psalm 27, starting at verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. This is declaratory prayer. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the defense of my life. Whom shall I dread? When evildoers came upon me to devour my flesh, my adversaries and my enemies, they stumbled and fell. Though a host encamp against me, my heart will not fear. Though war arise against me, in spite of this, I shall be confident. One thing I've asked from the Lord, that I shall seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to meditate in his temple. Well, there are a lot more like that. Make the declarations. Feed on the Psalms where the psalmist faced threats and fears, and then choose to turn to the Lord, not just for comfort, but for strength. So discipline yourself to sort it out. What's your own heart from what is in others? What you're feeling from others. Use what you sense from others and from the culture around you as cues for prayer and for ministry. But don't be consumed by it. Use the Word of God. Use the truth of who He is to sustain you and keep you in the place of balance and safety in the midst of all the turmoil. Well, that's enough said for today. This is Thanksgiving week in the United States. Use this time to refocus on the goodness of God. Let it overcome the darkness, and have a joyous week. God bless you.